Councillor Parker, quick sound check.
I can hear you good. Thank you.
Excellent. And Councillor Parker, I sent you a note there. Oh, I got your note back. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Safety and Social Standing Policy Committee for Thursday, April the 17th. We'll begin with a roll call.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Councillor Middleton Hope.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Dodick.
Present.
Councillor Parker.
Here.
Excellent. And then Vice Chair Campbell, you're here.
I am here.
And I see a couple of your colleagues have joined us. Thank you, Councillor Crowson. Councillor Carlson's online as well.
The City of Lethbridge acknowledges that we are gathered in the lands of the Blackfoot people of the Canadian Plains and pays respect to the Blackfoot people, past, present, and future, while recognizing and respecting their cultural heritage, beliefs, and relationship to the land. The City of Lethbridge offers respect to the Métis and all who have lived on this land and made Lethbridge their home. We'll begin with the adoption of the agenda. I understand there are some changes. Mr. Clerk?
There's a quick change, if committee will. The presenter for item 5.1, I believe it is here. Around some of the wording, specifically about its a request for a letter of support from the City of Lethbridge. It's the final slide. So if committee would like to take a 2 to 5 minute recess, we can quickly recompile that, publish it out, and then reconvene.
Yep. Any issues? I see none. Let's do that. Okay.
Motion to adopt the agenda as amended, then we'll proceed.
Yes, please. So.
Councillor Parker's got that motion.
Oh, from Councillor Parker. Be it resolved that the agenda of the Safety and Social Standing Policy Committee meeting be adopted as amended. Councillor Parker, that's yours.
I call the question.
Call the question. Question's been called. That passes. Okay.
Quick 2 minute recess.
All right, we're back to this meeting. We'll continue with consent agenda from Councillor Middleton Hope. Be it resolved, the Safety and Social Standing Policy Committee, 1, approve the minutes of the Safety and Social Standing Policy Committee meeting held on November the 21st, 2024, and authorize the chair and the city clerk to sign the same. And 2, receive for information the status of directed resolutions for April 17th, 2025. Councillor Middleton Hope.
Thank you. There are no additional changes, Mr. Clerk. Okay, call it.
Question's been called. That passes unanimously. All right. Yeah, he did. Start with presentations from 5.1. Jerry Firth, Chair of the League of YQL Neighborhoods. You're up and at it. Thanks for being here and welcome.
I'm wonderful. And the clicker works? That would be fine too. Okay. Also, I have with me Kelty Baird, another board member with the League of YQL Neighborhoods. So first of all, thank you for inviting us to join you today. YQL Neighborhoods, as I had mentioned, Kelty Baird's joining me. We also have another board member and some supporters in the audience with us today. So today we're going to show you how Neighborhood Connections support the city's goals. Also, what we've learned from our neighborhood engagement project and why this matters now. I'm hoping by the end you'll feel inspired to work more closely with us as well as other neighborhood groups that exist in the city. And I look forward to taking any questions you may have at the end. A city isn't just built, isn't just made of roads and buildings and of course the occasional rogue shopping cart. It's built on the relationships between its people. Research shows connected neighbors are more resilient, safer, healthier, and more economically vibrant. Simply put, when people know and trust their neighbors, good things happen. These benefits align directly with the city's strategic plan, making it not just a warm and fuzzy concept, but a practical and strategic investment. After all, the city functions best when its neighbors and neighborhoods aren't just places where people live, but they're a place where people truly belong. Neighborhood engagement doesn't just feel good, it is good. In fact, it directly supports 5 of the 6 focuses of the City Council strategic plan. That's pretty good alignment if you ask me, and if we think baseball, we're batting about .833 on that one. When residents are connected and involved, they're more likely to support local businesses, which strengthens our local economy. They also experience better mental health and well-being because they feel they belong. That sense of belonging builds healthier and more diverse communities. We also see cultural vibrancy grow when people take pride in their community and want to participate in local events and traditions. That same pride translates into caring for shared spaces, such as improving design and the quality of our neighborhood environments. And when people come together around community gardens, composting, or waste reduction efforts, they help advance environmental responsibility at a grassroots level. So yes, engaging neighborhoods, they tick the boxes. But more than that, it builds a city that feels like home. And that's something I think we can all get behind. So what does Neighborhood Connection look like on the ground, especially here in Lethbridge? Well, our neighborhood engagement project offered a closer look at this. We found that while many online neighborhood groups exist, formal neighborhood associations are still quite rare, at this moment anyway. And right now, only 8 are actively functioning across the city. One of the main challenges is that most residents aren't even aware that these groups exist or how to get involved with them. Even so, many people say they know at least a few of their neighbors, but what they really want is deeper connection. Relationships built through everyday moments, shared public spaces, and regular interaction. Because sure, away from the porch is friendly, but who's going to help you out when your recycling bin's 3 doors down because of the wind that we have here in Lethbridge? We also ask people about how they participate in neighborhood life and what holds them back. Many residents do engage in activities, but they face real barriers. Things like limited time, lack of awareness, or concerns about privacy can keep people from joining in. What we heard clearly, though, is that active, inclusive, and low-barrier events, ones that are easy to attend and welcoming to all, make a big difference. When it comes to what people want, the answers are enthusiastic. Residents are looking for more opportunities to gather, block parties, community festivals, events in parks and gardens, and activities that bring people together organically. Places like libraries, green spaces, and community gardens are seen as a natural hub for relationships to grow. And of course, food's always a hit. People want to connect, but often don't know where to start. That's where neighborhood associations come in. Neighborhood associations are like that friendly glue holding communities together, organizing events, sharing information, and making sure no one's left behind. The League of Waikiki Neighborhoods takes this a step further by supporting these neighborhood groups with leadership development, resource sharing, and advocacy. Think of us as the neighborhood association's biggest cheerleader, minus the pom-poms. Now, one exciting initiative we're working on is the Neighborhood Celebration Trailer. This is a mobile, ready-to-go event kit for community gatherings. We're currently in the process of our fund development, but if all goes well, we should have this project launched by this summer. The key takeaway is simple but powerful. Strong neighborhood connections make a stronger city. We're here today to invite a deeper, more ongoing partnership with the city, one rooted in shared goals of neighborhood vitality, connection, and resident engagement. As part of that partnership, we'd welcome your consideration of a general letter of support. It's a small gesture with a big impact. It strengthens our ability to pursue funding and partnerships, and it publicly reinforces how closely our mission aligns with the city's priorities. Finally, we encourage the city to explore and develop policies that intentionally support neighborhood connection, socially, physically, and structurally. These don't have to be massive shifts. Sometimes all it takes is to recognize that parks, sidewalks, events, and local leadership are critical infrastructure for building belonging. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about improving neighborhoods. It's about shaping a Lethbridge where people don't just live next to each other. It's about a Lethbridge where we live with each other. So at this time, I just want to thank you for this opportunity and thank you for listening. And we're open to any questions that you may have.
Thank you very much, Mr. Firth. First off, is there anyone from the gallery that wants to make a presentation here today? Anyone else? No, I see no one. All right, thank you. First of all, I'm disappointed you're not wearing a kilt, but that's beside the point. Okay. I'd like to know what was the genesis? What got you started to saying we need this, we want to create this association? Was there an event or something that happened? Tell us, kind of give me the idea behind how you formed this organization in the first place.
Sure. I'll give you the short version. It's been a long road. Some folks might be aware that I was the neighborhood development coordinator here at the City of Lethbridge at one point in my tenure. This would have been about 8 years ago now. So that's where a lot of the genesis came from. And during that time, there was a lot of research on the impact and the power of having neighborhood connections to help build and strengthen a city neighborhood-wide, or sorry, city-wide. From that point, that work had moved on. There was a shift in priorities. I also had moved on to other employment at that point. But during that time, there was a growth in neighborhood associations. We saw a spike in interest. And what we saw very clearly is that with the support, people were more likely to be engaged at that level. Unfortunately, then, when that support was missed, we saw some decline in that area as well. So from that work, we thought, okay, this is important. We saw something really special. So there are some really good examples. Gary Station, Upper Vic Park, London Road, Uplands, all doing some really cool things in engaging their neighbors. And so we figured, let's keep this momentum moving and let's create that support that these groups need.
How official do these neighborhood groups have to become? Do they have to register as a society, or do they just say, you know, we just want people to know we're getting together, and you know, because then I imagine you can also ask for funding if you are an official society.
You're correct. Yeah. So I mean, we define them as neighborhood groups, and we do so intentionally because the neighborhood association is something that's a little bit more formal. So I think it's important that really the first goal is to have that connection and some sense of organization where people are saying, yeah, we want to have some body to try to drive this force forward. And so whether they start organically and informally and then choose to become a formal society under the Societies Act and become a formal neighborhood association, it's something we would support, and it's also something that we have the capacity to help them navigate how to get there.
And finally, before I pass it on to some other councilors, how often do you meet as your own association or your group?
Yeah, we meet monthly.
Monthly? Okay.
Yep.
How long have you been meeting?
We've been meeting since 2020.
Wow, that long.
Yep.
Good for you. Okay. Councillor Carlson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Hi, Mr. Firth and Ms. Baird. Thank you for the information you provided and the work you've been doing throughout our neighborhoods in the community. A quick question around I think it was, I've forgotten the name now. I think it was a neighborhood barbecue truck. I probably messed that up. But can you maybe explain a bit more about that? I've talked to other communities that have these type of facilities, and sometimes it's run by the fire department or the police department. They go out to different community events and host block parties, et cetera. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Similar. So ours wouldn't be specifically focused on a barbecue. So it's going to be branded the neighborhood celebration trailer. And the idea is that it would be it's about a 6 by 14 foot trailer that would be stacked full of chairs, tables, generators, PA system. It'd have a barbecue as well, some lawn games. So just essentially kind of the things that you might need to throw a block party or even something to help you throw a neighborhood celebration. And this is a concept that has been born 10 years ago, and we're finally finding some traction with it. But you're right, this exists in many communities across the province. We've actually done some research, and there's at least 6 communities that have a similar trailer that actually is, it's primarily functioning through the municipalities in those communities. And so we thought, well, we want to move in this direction as well here in Lethbridge. And so we've sought some funding through various grants and some sponsorships, and just working towards that and hoping that that comes to fruition this summer.
Nice, thank you. What kind of grants have you been trying to access?
Sure.
Anything
So
municipal?
we have, yeah. So we've applied for the Make Your Mark grant through the City of Lethbridge. That would be specifically for the trailer, the wrap, and the locks, and then the build material to build the storage units within. And then we've also applied for the Community Priorities Grant through the Community Foundation for all the items that would go inside the trailer. And then we've done some sponsorships as well. We've currently succeeded in a sponsorship, a significant sponsorship from the Rotary Club of Lethbridge Mosaic, which will help with maintenance and insurance costs.
Excellent. Thank you for that. I did have one final question. I've completely forgotten it, Mr. Chair, so I will step out of the queue. Thank you. Oh, the question, and I didn't get the PowerPoint, so I didn't see all the asks that you were asking about, but one of them I saw was a letter of support. Have you reached out to the mayor's office directly? Quite often, the mayor, deputy mayor, acting mayor, deal with those types of letters of support. So I'm wondering if you have reached out to them at all.
We have not yet. This was the first entry point that we've had.
Well, then I'll just make a suggestion. Fire off an email to Mayor Higgin, and that should be a fairly simple thing to accomplish. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Councillor Parker. Councillor Parker, are you on mute by any chance, or you're not with us? Never mind. Okay. Sorry, my apologies. That was supposed to be me. Never mind.
My dog's just barking.
It's this
I had no questions.
I don't understand technology. Okay. So you're good? You're good, Councillor Parker? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, good. Councillor Crowson.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Thank you very much for the presentation. There's certainly a lot here to go through. Is there a city or cities that are doing this really well that you would like us to emulate? And if there is one or more, what are they doing and how does it benefit their community?
Absolutely. In the research that was done, the two of the best models globally, I would say, happen to be in this province, and that's in Calgary and Edmonton. Now they name them differently. So in Edmonton, they're called community leagues, but they're the same thing as a neighborhood association. And in Calgary, they're community organizations with a neighborhood focus. And in Edmonton, it's been well over 100 years since this model has been adopted. In Calgary, just short of that 100 years. And both of these organizations have, both of these communities have an organization similar to what we've started up here. And that's part of what we modeled ourselves after. So that would be the Edmonton Federation of Community Leagues and the Federation of Community Organizations. Now, they both have slightly different models, but in Edmonton, it is primarily focused on those neighborhood leagues, and in Calgary, it's a little bit broader, but it's really about being a capacity builder for them and helping them grow and expand and sustain themselves. Edmonton also, while they both have good relationships with their municipality, Edmonton specifically has an agreement where they even have a share of the green space that's within areas that are put in trust with the neighborhood groups that they can use in a way that is fitting for their needs. They also have an annual grant that is offered to these neighborhood groups to help sustain the work that they're doing. Calgary has a similar path with the grant, a slightly different model there. But we also know that Medicine Hat is starting up a lot of this work. Over the last couple of years, they've launched a program kind of similarly, and it's been launched through the municipality, through their community development unit, and Red Deer is also looking at this work as well.
And if we were to approach the councils of those communities, what do you think our colleagues in those communities would say are the greatest benefits of those organizations to the municipality and to the city as a whole?
Sure. Obviously, this would be speculation, but I would assume that for the longevity that they've experienced, I mean, 100 years is certainly nothing to balk at to have that kind of a relationship. So I would suspect that they see the benefit of being able to leverage grassroots, volunteer-based initiatives to strengthen not just neighborhood connections, but the community, that sense of community that happens within the neighborhoods and the care for that community. This could be things that is built not just on the social infrastructure, but also the physical infrastructure and safety. In fact, just on that vein, when we had conversations many years ago with the Community Watch, this was the model that they were working towards, is that they're recognizing that the model that they had just wasn't as effective as it used to be. So they were really focusing on trying to help create that sense of connectedness in their neighborhoods, because through that, you become more vigilant. You know who should be there, not there. You know people by name, and you have relationships. So then you become activated in creating that sense of security in your community. So I would say that there is a broad spectrum of benefits that a municipality would see from these neighborhood associations. Even more important is because they're at a grassroots level, you cut away the bureaucracy of things in many cases, and it creates the ability for these citizens to become more activated and move in a way that that's filled with their interests and their passions.
Perfect. Thank you, Vice Chair. Thank you very much.
Councillor Middleton Hope.
Thank you, and thank you for the information. So you didn't talk about homeowners associations and whether there's any alliance with them, allegiance, alignment, any kind of connection. So if I'm on a homeowners association board of directors, as an example, how would this umbrella group be a benefit to that organization?
Sure. Really, I think for us, as long as the focus and the connection is on that shared community and that connectedness with neighbors. So even if that's within a condo, for example, there's an absolute benefit. What's interesting is when we did our neighborhood engagement, what we heard from quite a few people is that they are in support of a neighborhood association so long as it didn't become overly bureaucratic. So people are told us quite clearly they don't want another level of bureaucracy where people are setting rules for them. They want it to be more organic, more social, and more connected in a way that's humanistic in nature. So I think there's a place for home buyers associations. Sorry, is that? Homeowners, thank you. I knew I got it wrong.
That's okay.
I knew that there certainly is a place for this. And I think we would be very much open to a conversation with these types of groups and seeing how that weaves into the fabric.
Right. You touched on over-regulating, which of course a group like this could not provide over-regulation, could not provide any regulation to a homeowners association. I belong to a fairly large homeowners association in Paradise Canyon. There's 216 homeowners, so it's not a condominium board, it's homes, right? But I can see that there are certainly some benefits in terms of we host a number of events during the course of the year, and although we have Paradise Canyon Golf Course right there, there would be an opportunity for block parties and block get-togethers and those kinds of things. So I would encourage you to contact, and I can provide you the contact information for the president of the Homeowners Association, but that might be just the first step in terms of addressing more than just one homeowners association. So thank
That'd be
you.
wonderful. Thank you.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? I see none. Thank you for your presentation. I appreciate it. Thank you. I now have a resolution from Deputy Mayor Dodick. Be it resolved that the Safety and Social Standing Policy Committee recommend to City Council that a letter of support for the League of YQL Neighborhoods be provided by the City of Lethbridge. Deputy Mayor.
Yes, again, I want to thank the presenters for the presentation, answering the questions that members of the SPC had. So unless there are other questions or any further debate, I would call the question.
Anybody else have any other comments or debate? I see none. I just, other than, yeah, the more you get to know your neighbors, the better the neighborhood is, and the more fun you have, more hockey pools, all good. So with that, I will call for the vote. All in favor? That looks, yeah, that's the word, unanimous. Thank you. Unanimity. Thank you very much. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Acting Chair. Appreciate that. Happy
Thanks, all.
Easter,
Take care.
everyone.
Happy Easter.
Easter.
Have a good long weekend.
I'm going to go on an Easter egg hunt. Okay.